I really like what the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are doing in their final game of the regular season, resting key starters, veterans, and playing the strategy game, the long game, as they enter the 2025 postseason with a couple wins needed for the Blue Bombers to play in the Grey Cup on home turf. What it all means, where Winnipeg will end up in the East or the West playoff picture, and who's in and who's out for this final game, week 21 against the Montreal Alouettes. Welcome inside Game Day Winnipeg. This is your live Blue Bombers pregame show here on Bonfire Sports. Darrin Bauming, joined by the legend, Canadian Football Hall of Famer, Chris Walby. Bluto, we will go through all of the individuals who will be resting. A couple for Montreal. Yeah. They're still vying for a home playoff game, a West final or East final hosting job and winning the West East Division. I think I got that straight now. But the Blue Bombers, they could finish third in the West. They could finish fourth in the West and cross over. Who knows whether they will be in Calgary next week, whether they'll be in Hamilton, Montreal, maybe they'll be in BC. But all will be determined at the end of this week. Do you like what Winnipeg's doing, resting some guys?
No. I mean, I'm thinking like this. I think you want to go in there. You have your record-setting sellout at the stadium. You want to put on a good show for all these guys. And, you want to come out and get a win. I mean, the thing is, you knew that Montreal, regardless of what Hamilton does tonight, Montreal can't take that chance. So they have to declare their roster 24 hours before, which is today. So they got to bring their starters as if Hamilton somehow loses. They get to play for the the title of East Division champs. So that's what happens right now. The Bombers are resting a lot of players, yet they should know that if they won and BC loses, they get in third place. I mean, that's basically the only scenario because they have the season series against BC, but they don't against Calgary. Now, do they not want to go to the West? Do they want to go to the East? I mean, you're not thinking like that. You just want to be in the playoffs. They're in the playoffs now, but it makes me wonder. You're resting a lot of guys. I'll tell you what, when I saw, listen, first off, one of the most horrific football games I've ever watched last week against Saskatchewan. Terrible football. Terrible. Boring, stupid. You're looking at Saskatchewan, they could have easily won the game. Jake Mayer is 13 of 13. They pull him in and put Jake Cohn in. They basically lost the game, and they only lost by 1 point, but it's still stupid. And then you saw Zach. I don't think I've ever seen Zach get hit that many times.
I don't think I've seen him play that poorly either.
Well, he was under duress. He was under a lot of duress.
He was. The offensive line is playing awful right now, Chris. They're going to rest Stanley Bryant on Saturday against Montreal. Yeah. They're going to rest their right tackle as well. They're going to rest a whole bunch of guys. I'll pull up.
Kendall Randolph's playing.
Oh, pardon me. Kendall Randolph's playing.
Yeah, that's fine, buddy. But you know what? Yeah, Micah Vanderpool will be playing the left tackle spot. Usually plays guard. Now he'll be playing tackle, and he's going to go against two guys that are pretty dang good in 𝘎𝙥𝙤𝙧𝙯 and Isaac Berglund. What's his last name? Isaac Berglund. Something I'm missing there.
Here, I got it.
Ademi.
Yeah. Ademi Berglund. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's got 11 quarterback sacks. You can get after him. Mustafa Johnson, who you just highlighted. They got a lot of talents. The Bombers are sitting a ton of people.
Winnipeg is going to sit James Vaughters and Willie Jefferson on their defensive line. Jefferson will only miss his second game. Get that. Second game since he joined the Blue Bombers in 2019. Winnipeg's most outstanding special teams player and most outstanding rookie announced this week, Trey Vavel, will rest as well. Ontario Wilson will rest. He is healthy. The only one of these veterans, or there's a couple, I guess, but Nick Dembski has a hamstring injury. He is hurt. He will not play. Yeah. Michael Griffin continues to miss time. He's out, but Kolaris, healthy scratch. Stanley Bryant, healthy scratch. Jefferson, as we mentioned. Reda Cramdy at the dime back spot, healthy scratch. Dylan Mitchell and Brady Oliveira on offense, as well as Ontario Wilson. All healthy scratches. So as we look at the Blue Bombers depth chart, yeah, you're right. Kendall Randolph at right tackle, but Micah Vanderpool comes in for Stanley Bryant. They'll keep Wallace, Kolinkowski, and Neufeld at the guard spots. Jared Stearns, Cam Eccles steps in, which I really, really like. Gavin Cobb still in Nick Dembski's spot. Carrick Wheatfall will remain in. Chris Streveler gets the start at quarterback, Chris, not Terry Wilson. Can we just cut right to the chase? Winnipeg's offensive play calling has been under incredible scrutiny, and you can even hear it reading between the lines in listening to the Blue Bombers players post-game in the locker room throughout the week. Jason Hogan, I mean, you could talk about a hot seat, but they're not going to fire anybody at this point as they enter the postseason. Jarius Jackson, will he get more involved as an offensive assistant?
Think he would be already. You think he would be already. I mean, that's the thing. They get together. You got a veteran quarterback like Zach. They all sit together. They sit in that room and they devise plans that go against any defense they're going to play. I still, when I look at this, and I'll tell you what, when I look at the list of guys not playing, I'm surprised that they're sitting Ontario Wilson. I don't know why they're sitting him. He just came back. I don't know why you would give him a break. I know you want to put Cam Eccles in there to see what he can do, but still, this is not a tryout game. This is what I don't get.
No, but
this is a game
they want them fresh.
You want them fresh, but you want to win the game, DB. You want to win this football game.
But
you want to go in. You're going to back into the playoffs.
The strategy in all of this.
I will eat a whole turkey if they win tomorrow against Montreal. Well, I will eat a turkey.
The strategy in this is simple to me. You're okay. First of all, whether you're playing all your starters and you're really pushing to win, or whether you're resting guys and you're never going to show all of your playbook. You're not going to do that against a team that you could be playing in the playoffs. I think Winnipeg is taking a very, very cautious approach here.
No, that's not how it works, DB. You want the defense to have a million things to cover. You want to throw a flea flicker in there so they got to cover it. You want to throw all these stupid plays in there. We just always do it because we know the defense had to spend time covering whatever our trick play we're running. You don't want to save stuff. What are you saving it for? You're going to they got a good opportunity. They're probably going to end up playing Montreal. The odds are they'll play back to back against Montreal. Well, I think they're going to be the crossover. They could, but will Ottawa beat Hamilton? I don't know. I mean, that franchise is in disarray right now. Yep. I think they're all starting to read the writing on the wall. And listen, kudos to Bobby Dice. Great guy, great person. Unfortunately, I think that chair is going to be pulled on him, maybe even the GM. But, I mean, right now, they can't keep putting a subpar product out in Ottawa. Maybe you'll hear Paula Police's name up. But here you go. Let's look at the scenarios. Here you go.
East Division playoff scenarios. If Hamilton wins or Montreal loses, Hamilton will finish first in the East and host the East final. Montreal will then host likely Winnipeg in a crossover. If Hamilton ties against the Ottawa Red Blacks or Montreal wins, well, then Montreal will clinch first place. If Hamilton loses and Montreal wins or ties, does not lose, then Montreal will host that East final. Looking over to the West, and here's your schedule for week 21. Ottawa at Hamilton tonight, Friday night, Calgary and Edmonton, Winnipeg hosting Montreal, Saskatchewan hosting BC. For Winnipeg to cross over, or pardon me.
They've only got one way to win third place, and that's BC's got to lose.
Yes.
That's the only way they can get in.
Now, Sask rested a bunch of guys last week. They're going to have a bye next week. I see Saskatchewan being at home as well. They're going to push hard to win. So this is going to be a tough game. This could be
Trevor
a tough
Harris
game for
is
BC.
playing. Ouellette's playing. There are a lot of those guys, Hardrick, all the guys they sat last week in the game against Winnipeg. They're all coming back to play a portion of the game. I always believe in playing a portion of the game. I know you like to use that rust versus reward, slogan, but for me, I just think that when I look at that team, I'll be honest with you, as a team, I want to go in and I want to go into the playoffs on a winning note. And I got to think it's going to be tough for the Bombers to win tomorrow. I really do. With all the changes they're doing. Now, can they win? Yeah, they can. Streveler is going to have to play lights out. And maybe we'll see Terry Wilson a little bit tomorrow.
Maybe.
Which would be a nice thing. Maybe, right? But, I mean, why have the guy out there if he can't? You don't know what he can do. You actually told me a number of shows ago that you like his arm. Big, tall cat. Can throw a nice ball. And I mean, he's been there enough times to play. I mean,
Accuracy in
Trevor,
practice
11
versus in a
interceptions.
game when you got guys coming at you, that's a
It's
different story.
100% different.
Yeah.
But again, why do you think it's better that they rest all these guys so they can back into the playoffs? And I'm assuming they're going to lose.
I don't think of it as backing into the playoffs.
I do. You're going to go into the playoffs and maybe play Montreal again, and then you just haven't played well. And your theory of, well, we're not going to show them anything, I'm sorry, buddy. Being there before, no, I can't see it. You're not going to protect yourself. You're going to go and make Montreal, regardless what happens, they're all going to come back next week, regardless what happens next week. If we end up going to Montreal, it's all going to be the same story. Well, we rest a lot of guys. Now our strength is coming back. We'll be good this week.
Mike O'Shea disagrees with you. Let's hear from the head coach.
I don't. Well, he's the head coach, man. God bless you.
What? Years ago, I think I made a mistake and didn't enter a playoff game as fresh as we could have been. So that's part of what goes into it. The belief that healthy, fresh is ultimately important.
And you don't worry about a bit of rust come the playoffs for those guys that sit?
No, I don't. And I just think that's a valuable reps for a lot of guys too that could end up helping us.
Do you believe it's like a trust factor too? Like, these guys are going to do the work, and you don't even worry about it when you know what I'm saying? Like, they'll do what needs to be done.
Yeah, they've been doing the work for years. Yeah.
What are you hoping to see from Stravler, and will Wilson get some reps too?
Yeah, I mean, the game will dictate how the roster shapes up as it goes along. What do you hope? That they lead our team. That's what every quarterback wants to do.
I'll leave it there for now. Chris, there he said, a few years ago, he felt he made a mistake not entering the playoffs as fresh as he could have been. Why didn't they ask him a question? That presumably being when Winnipeg won the West and hosted the West Final and had bye weeks and that sort of thing. But
okay, that's a different scenario.
There's a lot of value to that.
Okay, there may be some value, but why doesn't nobody ask him the question? Is it good to go into a playoff game against a team on a loss? Nobody asked that question. Yeah, it's all about resting the guys, and maybe a couple of years ago he made a mistake. I could have sat some guys.
But they were wrapped up. Chris, just answer me this question, okay?
Yeah.
What value is there for Winnipeg to pull out all the stops and show, unique things in their offensive playbook, their defensive playbook? What value is that when you have to play this team again in a week or two?
You don't know. You don't know that. I would be playing. See, to me, it's like you're saying, I'm playing for the crossover.
You're giving film to whoever your opponent is next week. BC,
but if I'm going out there to win, I don't care if I'm playing Calgary or BC. You're saying I think they'd rather play out in the East. That's what you said.
Whomever, I'm saying. What value is there in pulling out all the stops to try to get a win when it doesn't matter? You're going to finish no better than third in the West, or you're going to be the third place team in the East.
Because when you go in cracks, when you start losing games, cracks appear. You make mistakes. You get sloppy. Maybe somebody gets hurt.
Hey, I'm only pushing back. Maybe someone gets hurt. Good point. I'm only pushing back on you here for argument's sake.
Don't play anybody. Don't play any starters any game. You might get hurt.
Yeah. No, I hear you there. I hear you there. But just for argument's sake, what benefit is there to finishing in the West or the East? Like, I don't think they care. They're the third place team in the West. Or they're the third place team in the East.
You're missing my point. My point is this. My only point is this. You play to win. You don't play to lose. And I understand sitting some guys, but not the majority of your players. Like I said, Ontario Wilson just been here a couple weeks, 5 weeks maybe. He should be playing. I mean, come on, man. I mean, Stanley, I can see Stanley again. He's 39 years old. Okay, I can give him a break. But there's a lot of guys that I would say should be playing unless you're not happy. Like he said something very cool there. Maybe these guys can help us.
Right.
You notice he's dressing 2 or 3 new defensive ends. I mean, Jay Pearson's the guy who was here. They put him on a practice roster, which is basically done. But they got these new guys, and I'll look at my roster right here. There you go. Jaworski, Matthew Jaworski out of Fordham. You got Kamari Munier-Bailey out of Weber State. And you got Jenkins. Kedron Jenkins out of Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are 3 new defensive ends with Matthew Jaworski, the guy on that other side, 6'5", 260, big boy, of maybe a clone almost of Willie Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see getting a couple shots at these guys, but it's interesting. Like I said, still, no Brady Oliveira. So Matthew Pedersen, when he's got a chance, has kind of shown that he can do it.
He was great out of the gate this year.
Yeah, I know Cam Eccles played really well for Calgary when he was playing for him at the wide receiver spot. Gavin Cobb caught everything thrown his way last week. 82, the U of M grad who played in Edmonton before. You still got Wheatfall and Clarius. I understand that. Vavel, they don't want to take a chance. He's got 4 touchdowns on returns. We're finally going to see Peyton Logan, who, do you realize, only rushed the ball once this year? He was their big offseason signing. He's got 1 carry.
He was their big offseason signing.
Yeah, he was.
He was a big offseason signing.
I just said that.
But not the.
Well, you're misinterpreting.
He was like 3rd or 4th down the list.
You are such a jackass. You know what? Listen, we're going to obviously agree to disagree on this. Yeah. As a former player, I'm just saying, I agree with you. Maybe you're right about resting players. I just think that you want to give your fans, that's another thing. If it was on the road, I'd say, okay, your fans aren't going to see it. But this is a 14th sellout, a record in the history books. Yeah. And now you're playing all these cats who a lot of them haven't had a sniff before. Yeah. So what's going to happen? I mean, you got Willie Jefferson out. You got James Vaughters out. Thank God they got Tony frickin' Jones still in there. Otherwise,
the back end of the defense is untouched. It's
I think and that's good. It really is good.
Hey,
they're going to get tested.
I'm going to interrupt you just to say welcome everybody from Winnipeg Sports Talk as WST raids over here to GameDay Winnipeg, your live Bombers pregame show. Be sure to join us for the live postgame show. We'll have video highlights and break it all down after the game, right after the game, right here on Bonfire Sports and Bonfire Winnipeg. We just heard from head coach Mike O'Shea, who spoke about the value of resting guys and the mistake he says he made a couple years ago in going into the playoffs, not as rested or as fresh as they could be. Stanley Bryant, Zach Collaros, Willie Jefferson, Retta Cramdy, Dylan Mitchell, Brady Oliveira, James Vaughters, Trey Vavel, among the healthy scratches for the Bombers on Saturday. Yeah. Nick Dembski has a hamstring injury. He'll remain out of the lineup. O'Shea said he could come back for a playoff game. Didn't say for the playoffs. He said a playoff game. Maybe that's the semifinal. Maybe that's the final. Maybe that's the Grey Cup. We'll see. Hamstring is about a month injury. He's about a week and a half into it. So we'll see there. But the strategy the Blue Bombers are employing right now is to say, we don't care if we finish 3rd in the West and play in Calgary or BC. We don't care if we cross over and finish 3rd in the East and go to Hamilton or Montreal. We don't care. We are going to rest our guys and we are going to go into the playoffs next week, regardless if we win or lose in week 21, and be as fresh as they can be. Collaros, Oliveira, Stanley, and all those guys ready to win 3 games and at least 2 to get to the Grey Cup on home turf, Chris.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, listen, your point of just happy to be in the playoffs and we're going to play no matter what. I just, like I said, I'm going to beat this to death, but I don't like going in on a loss. And I shouldn't say that because maybe they'll surprise the heck out of me tomorrow, and beat the Alouettes at home. And that will be just one of those fairy tale games that I'd love to see. And then the other thing is you talk about resting guys. Well, the time that he's talking about was the time that O'Shea clinched first place and then had a bye before the Western final. And so he had 2 weeks off. Well, of course he rested guys. But, I mean, he played a couple of shifts. That's all he did. And I can go back in those films. He didn't play Zach the whole game. He didn't play none of these guys the whole game. But he played them a little bit. I don't know. To me, unless these guys are nicked up, and they're not. I know they're not. What's the worst case scenario that happens, DB? They get schnockers knocked out of them tomorrow.
Yep. That is the worst case.
And what happens? What do the fans think? What do you think? We're covering the team. What do you think? What do you put are you going to put a positive spin on? Because that's an excuse right now.
Yeah,
I can say the roster is not the roster.
I thought about this because I knew you and I would disagree on.
We always disagree.
Yeah, well, hey, it's what makes a good show. But I knew we would disagree on this, and I thought about, okay, let's say they get the pants knocked off of them on Saturday, and then they have to go to Montreal next week and play the Alouettes in the first round of the playoffs, the Eastern semifinal. I think Mike O'Shea, like they've been to 5 straight Grey Cups, and because they are experienced, they have strong leadership, that they know no matter what happens in this game, next week is when it counts, and that they'll be strong enough mentally to approach that game the right way, no matter what happens on Saturday in Winnipeg.
Because you're going to use that as an excuse. You know what's going to happen? If they lose, they're going to say, well, you know what? We rested all the guys. Don't worry about it. We got our guys back. We're a better team now. That is just a weird analogy of just trying to say, like, it's like they've got
Keith Lillis says here. Let Montreal beat them and get overconfident.
You should have confidence. You want to build. What is the gay thing to say? It's not a sprint. It's a marathon, and you want to get stronger every week. You want to go into the playoffs playing your best football. Yeah. You think if they get smoked tomorrow, that's going to say, hey, we didn't play very good, but
we don't have QB1. They know they're not the same team without Zach Collaros.
Well,
they know they're not the same team without Brady Oliveira.
No, because Brady is a freak, and Zach, I don't care what anybody says about Zach. Zach gives you the best opportunity to win, bar none. When he plays and he's on, like we watched him play the Hamilton game when he had such a magnificent game. And certain teams, okay, this is another one I'm going to put. It almost goes to you, which drives me nuts. Do you know certain teams play well against certain teams?
Mm-hmm.
Winnipeg has played very well against Hamilton and very well against Montreal. But the last game they played against Montreal, there was no Davis Alexander, who was a quarterback in 11 in a row. CFL record for a quarterback, highest quarterback rating right now. They had a guy named James Morgan, right? I mean, they didn't look good at all. And it just tells you the importance of having a quarterback, a guy who can control that offense, right?
James Morgan will rest. Yeah. He's their backup. Sean Lemon is healthy. He will rest. Jamar McGloster, offensive lineman, former Bomber, he will rest. And James Letcher Jr., receiver, returner, will rest as well. So the Alouettes will go into this game resting a couple guys, but they're kind of coming at this game like they're playing with a lot of momentum right now. I think they're probably the strongest team in the league as far as the way that they're playing right now. And it's all because of Davis Alexander, who missed a big chunk of the season with a lingering hamstring injury. But defensively, they're bringing their guys, Murray, Sankey, Beverett in the receiving or in the linebacker core, Sutton and Dequoy and Evans and KB and Ento in their defensive backfield. They're bringing their guys. Speaker, Mack, Philpott, Rambo, Sneed, all of their receivers are there. Montreal's coming in. They're trying to build momentum. Where Winnipeg is taking that different approach.
See, the thing is, and I mentioned this at the Montreal podcast I did, their show, whatever, those idiots, I should say idiots, nice guys of Montreal. And it was funny because I was talking to Clifford Pine, who does that show. And I said, you know what? They've got to bring all their players because they can't predict if Hamilton's going to win. But having said that, I can see, because they dressed McLeod Bethel Thompson, who's back now, as a backup. Shea Patterson's the third string. If Hamilton wins, and that'll happen tonight, that means they basically clinch first because they beat Montreal. They own the season series against Montreal. So what happened, and maybe you're only going to see Alexander for a quarter or a half. They may start resting their players, but they didn't bring enough guys to alternate all over. Their defense is still good. I mean, I'm a Darnell Sankey fan. The guy's a freak at that middle linebacker spot. But the guy I love, and I think you like him too, Tyrese Beverett. 7 sacks, 4 interceptions. You know that Montreal's defensive coordinator, I think it's Noel Thorpe.
Yep.
Pretty sure it's Noel. That guy knows how to blitz. and he's going to come after. He's going to make Streller's going to have to run again, running down the road, whatever. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
Somehow it was a row my boat that my grandkids were singing. So I don't know how that got in my head.
Too much time with the grandkids.
Tomorrow.
Never
I'm going tomorrow. Sawyer, 7 years, turning 6 tomorrow. Yeah. Happy birthday,
happy
Sawyer.
early birthday.
Yeah. My only granddaughter. So yeah, it's going to be a good thing.
Very nice. Well, maybe you want to take her to a nice birthday dinner at the Silver Heights restaurant. Are you looking for legendary ribs and steaks in Winnipeg? Hit the Heights in sunny St. James. What happened here? This is also small. We'll get this straightened out. Silver Heights Restaurant serves up your favorites: seafood, hearty Canadian classics, cozy vibes, and a family-run Winnipeg institution since 1957. Dine-in, takeout, and delivery. Great beer selection, free parking. The lounge is Winnipeg's original sports bar. Watch the Jets, the Bombers, NFL, and more on their monster screen and multiple TVs. Open late. Silver Heights Restaurant, 2169 Portage, just west of Assiniboine Park. Order, book, and find more at SilverHeightsRestaurant.ca. You tell them the Bonfire Boys sent you. Tradition tastes great. You love the Heights, Chris. There's Tony and JC. Oh, sorry, Chris, I had you muted there. Go ahead. I had you muted. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you do that on purpose every time I win an argument.
Every
but anyway,
single time.
I'll tell you what. No, the Bomber alumni, a bunch of the guys, Joe Pop, Danny Hug, Paul Bennett, all the guys we get together, Stan, Mickey, we all go to the Heights when we have a reunion, and that's the reason we go there. It's great food, great service, cold beer. Oh, you can't beat it. No. And so yeah, and even Milt Stiegel sign, you gotta love that too.
Milt Stiegel Drive, baby.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, buddy. I think it's going to be an interesting game. It's a game of field position. I thought Valvo was a big reason that they won last week when that big missed field goal again by Brent Lother, who's not playing this week. He say he's got a bad back. They're playing an American kicker in Saskatchewan. Brent Lother, yeah.
Maybe it's good to rest your kicker.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but he's not. He's. It doesn't matter. He had 8 in a row. I don't care about Saskatchewan anyway. But yeah, you're right.
Chris, speaking of Trey Vavel and speaking of special teams,
let's do it, man.
The Blue Bombers announced their team award winners. These individuals will be the nominees for the West, and then nominees from all of the teams in the West and all the teams in the East will go to the next round of voting. I'm one of 5 voters in Winnipeg, myself, and Taylor Allen of the Winnipeg Free Press, Derek Taylor of CJOB, Paul Friesen of the Winnipeg Sun, and the head coach of every team gets a vote as well. The Bombers' most outstanding rookie was Trey Vavel. That was a unanimous decision amongst the 5 voters. Most outstanding special teams player, Trey Vavel again, also unanimous. Most outstanding offensive lineman was left tackle Stanley Bryant. He was my vote. This was not a unanimous selection. My secondary vote for tie-breaking purposes was Kendall Randolph, the right tackle. This is where it gets interesting, though. Most outstanding defensive player is Evan Holm. Not a unanimous decision. Not my vote for most outstanding defensive player. Not even my secondary vote.
Yeah.
And I know you and I both agree. Tony Jones, I think he got snubbed.
I agree with you 100%. Tony Jones, 100 tackles this year, 3 sacks, an interception. He's all over the field. He's had multiple tackle games, like 9-8 tackles. I think he's the heart and soul of that defense, that middle linebacker position. Remember, this is the guy that replaced the legendary Adam Bighill. And, yeah, I do agree. I think he got snubbed, buddy. I really do, because I thought, what more does a guy got to do? I know that, they gave Evan, and Evan leads a team of 4 interceptions. But is that the stat that kicked it up? He's got 40 tackles or 53 tackles. But if a DB has a lot of tackles, what does that tell me? It tells me they're going after him a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I look at Dietrich Nichols, no interceptions. He's got 30-something tackles. They're not,
Dietrich
they don't really
Nichols
go
was
after
my
Dietrich.
second vote. He was my tiebreaker vote, and right there with Tony Jones for most outstanding defensive player.
And that's the only one of the the nominations I didn't agree with.
Mm-hmm.
I think Brady is a Canadian Brady, and unfortunately he's going to be in tough this year for those awards this year. But
Brady was my secondary choice. I voted Nick Dembski, most outstanding Canadian for the Blue Bombers.
Okay.
And here's my rationale why. Okay,
I would have done Dembski too.
Brady Oliveira and Nick Dembski neck and neck this year, like 1A, 1B, really tough to decide. The reason I gave it to Dembski is because, and Brady probably won't like hearing this, but a running back is given the ball for the most part. They're involved in the pass game too. But Nick Dembski has to earn every touch he gets. He has to get open. He has to make the catch. That's why I gave the nod to Nick Dembski over Brady Oliveira. But Oliveira was right there. He was my secondary vote. Most outstanding player for the Blue Bombers this year is Brady Oliveira, as he was the last 2 years. For me, it was Tony Jones. And my secondary vote was Trey Vavel.
Wow. I like your Tony Jones and Trey Vavel thing. He came on. Listen, he's done great. Listen, let's not take anything away from him. We had Janarian and Grant. We got used to a guy that can take the ball anywhere, and now we got Trey Vavel, who's doing it 4 times already. Instant field position. He's really tough to read, and he can just read his block so incredibly well. I think the tough ones there to come out. Now, you want to talk about who's going to come out? Nathan Rourke's probably going to come out of both the player and the Canadian. Right now, that's what I think. I think it'll be Nathan Rourke. If you look at Stanley,
100%.
who's had an incredible career, if you look at the list of O-linemen that were nominated, he wasn't a unanimous choice for the first time in a long time. And there were 3 other offensive linemen that were unanimous choices. One in BC, somewhere else. I can't remember the other one, maybe one in Toronto. So it's going to be tough for Stanley, I think. And, he always want to win.
Yeah.
But, and then you look at the rookie, I do think Vavel's going to go through.
I think Vavel could win special teams and rookie. And I'll tell you why he was my number 2 for most outstanding player on the Blue Bombers. Leads the CFL in missed field goal return yards, punt return yards. He had 4 return touchdowns this year. 2 on kickoff returns, a punt return, and a missed field goal return. That 128-yard was the longest in club history. He eclipsed Albert Johnson's Blue Bombers record. Didn't eclipse it, smashed it. Albert Johnson III's total back in 2000 was 277 missed field goal return yards. Vavel had 391. And plain and simple, Trey Vavel won games for the Blue Bombers this year. Yes. He won them games when Kolaris was out and Streveler had 6 complete, whatever. It was Trey Vavel.
Especially that game
he was my runner-up for MOP.
I mean, the other thing is, too, who's Montreal's rookie? I can't remember.
Dig it up here.
Because I'll tell you why I say that. They have the 2 leading special team tacklers. And I've always been a guy that loves to see guys on special teams get recognition. And they have a guy, Tyrell Richards, who leads the league with 28 special
That's a huge amount with a game to play.
His buddy on the other side, Alexandre Gagne, he's got 24. They're in 1 and 2. And I think that when I had Walby Warriors, a lot of times I would lean to these guys a little bit because they don't get the recognition they so deservedly deserve. I really do believe that. And I wonder if it is Tyrell Richards, a rookie, but I don't think he's a rookie. So
I think I got it.
Who's Montreal's rookie?
Most outstanding rookie for Montreal was Travis Thies.
Oh, that's the running back who's out. Yeah, I was talking. He's banged up. He's on a 6th game. He probably won't be back.
Robert Carter Jr., the defensive back who had that highlight reel one-handed catch for the BC Lions. Chalon Garnes, defensive back for Edmonton. He could definitely come out of the West. I don't know if he's going to take on Trey Vavel, but in the East, Derek Sluka, the safety for the Argos. Keelan White for Ottawa. Devin Verisuk. Now, he was the guy that needed to be carted off the field when the Bombers last played in Hamilton, but as a rookie middle linebacker, he has been stellar. I think he will be the East nominee going up against
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the middle linebacker. Yeah, he's really played well. Yeah, I agree with him, but I think it's Vavel's right now. And you're right, he could win both. That's the thing. I mean, but again, like I said, I have no issue with. I do agree with you on a couple. I think Dembski got kind of overlooked a little bit, and I like Dembski. I think he had a year, like you say, he doesn't touch the ball every play like Brady does. And the other one I really do think that is, I have to, and I listen, I got nothing against Evan Holmes. I heard he's an outstanding young man, and he's getting recognition. God bless you, man. But I got to tell you, Tony Jones, I don't know how a guy like that, that played a year he's had, is not getting the recognition he deserves. Yeah. That's just what we feel. All right? That's what we're talking about now.
I like it. Chris, before we wrap things up, and okay, the Bombers are taking this rest strategy. We heard from head coach Mike O'Shea on his rationale, why he's deciding to take this approach. But Winnipeg is still going to try to win, and it's a 14th straight sellout. They've sold out the whole season, which is outstanding. Well done, Bomber fans. Well done. I don't think that's ever been done before. I could be wrong. Maybe back in the old, Osborne Stadium days.
No, I'm not sure. That's when they went to the meatpacking plant after for some food.
Yeah. But do you have keys to the game? What does Winnipeg need to do with Chris Streveler, no Brady Oliveira, no a lot of guys to come away with a win? And wherever they land in the postseason, go in with a little bit of positive feelings.
Well, you know what? And great points, DB. And we did cover a lot of points today, and I think they were all valid from both sides, yours and mine. Just want to get that off my chest right now. For offense, buddy, I tell you what, you've got to get in the red zone. Winnipeg is the worst team for getting in the red zone, which is the score zone, 20 yards in. They got to stay on the field. You can't just go 2 and out, and give the other opportunity to Montreal. Execution is going to be huge. And the number one thing, too, is protect the football. We are the worst team in the CFL for turnover ratio. We have 43 turnovers that have led to 104 points. That's not going to cut it. And on defense, I like this. Let the new dogs eat. Let them go, baby. 2 new defensive ends. 3, actually. They want to see what they can do. Vaughters and Jefferson getting a break. I like to see what's going on, playing for the future. And I'd like to see our defense create turnovers. Again, 9 sacks. I don't want to put too much stack on it. They're number 9 in sacks, only 21. They've only got 12 interceptions, which is worse in League 2. Create some turnovers. And special teams, man, I mean, it's a battle. You got Jose. We talked about this last time. Jose Maltos Diaz and Sergio Castillo. Sergio, 6 for 9 over 50. Jose Maltos Diaz, 7 of 8 over 50. Joseph Zima, the punter, 12 punts inside the 10-yard line. That's pinning a team deep. That's number 1 in the CFL. And you got our guy, too, Jamison Sheehan, almost 48 yards a punt. So it's there. It's just going to see, you know what, we got to win the field position battle and take points wherever you get them, and I think we'll be okay. But as I said earlier, boys, I think that this is going to be a tough game for us to win, DB, and that's only because of the amount of players we're resting. And I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to say it, and I'll say, you know what, the Bombers have really got talent.
Well, you and I are going to get to a pregame show next week before the East or West semifinal. Those games both go on Saturday, so you and I will get Game Day Winnipeg going on Friday next week. And then, of course, Game Day After Dark. No better place to be post-game than right here on Bonfire Sports. Schnitzy will join me as always. Great comment here I want to pull up from Matthew Hyman. My fave stat right now, says Matthew, no East team has a home record above 500, and all West teams will finish with a home record above 500. Winnipeg could very well end up in the East, playing Hamilton, playing Montreal next week. Could you just imagine if it's Winnipeg on the road at Princess Auto Stadium against the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the 112th Grey Cup? Oh, man.
And you know what they said about that is the Bombers would have to go into the visitors' locker room.
You know what? They asked for the visitors' locker room in the 2019 Grey Cup when they had to play. They were road warriors and went to Calgary and then Saskatchewan, and then they went back to Calgary. They said, well, we're the home team because the Grey Cup's in the West. Give it to the Ticats. We want the road locker room. Maybe that's what they'll do in Winnipeg. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know about that.
I wouldn't give up my comfort zone. My favorite stall before the game.
That's the thing. It's like, it's not just the home locker room. It's their locker room.
That's exactly it. You never give away your area.
Chris, how about this? Just as a wild thing, the mental of your opponent being in a locker room with all of that Bombers paraphernalia around, and then having to go out and play the Bombers. It might screw with their heads a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into psychology.
You're reading too much into it, because once you get on the field, it doesn't matter.
Well, you know what I do. You know what I do. This is what I do. I look into
you create controversy. That's what you do. You create controversy.
Oh, okay.
And I love it because I don't want to be with the guy that just, yeah, Walby. I want a guy that says, I don't agree with you, big bud.
Screw you, Walby.
You know what?
You're wrong.
Yeah, I am a lot wrong. You should ask my wife. I'm wrong a lot.
Oh, she's my favorite Walby. That's why she's my favorite Walby.
Yeah.
It's her and I both tell you
anyway,
you're wrong all the time.
Let's watch this game tomorrow, boys. Let's have fun. Watch this game. I will be watching it. Then I'm going to going to my granddaughter's birthday party. Sawyer, happy birthday. And then we'll get ready for next week, the playoffs. And that's when it starts to get really good, because it's, as they say, do or die.
Buckle up, baby.
Right?
Yeah, if you missed it earlier, you can rewind the show. You can see how we went through the depth charts, who's in, who's out, the rest, the rust, the big debate Chris and I had. Hear from head coach Mike O'Shea on his reasoning, why the Bombers will be resting, and the playoff scenarios and all that. Chris, real quick, I know you got to go, but real quick on your way out, Robert Campbell LV, watching live on YouTube. What's going on, Robert? DB and Chris, do you see a massive player turnover next season for the Bombers? Chris, I feel strongly about this, but I'll let you go first.
I think that it depends on how they go, but I think there's always turnover. There might be more this year because they do have a very veteran-laden team, and they're getting up there. And that's maybe one of the reasons that O'Shea's taking a look at some of these new guys, but that's not really a time for me to test them. But yeah, you're right. There could be some change, and if they don't do well, it's so hard because the Bombers have been to 5 straight Grey Cups, and we're spoiled. And I just don't want people get all crazy if we don't get there again for 6, because we've had an incredible run. O'Shea and Walters and Wade Miller have done an incredible job of putting a good team together. It's always hard to keep them because, as you say, and you saw that this year. I'll use one example. Mm-hmm. One example. When you win, everybody wants a bigger piece of the pie. Every player wants a bigger piece of the pie. You got Kenny Lawler, who's got 14 touchdowns in Hamilton. He's a freak. Catches anything in his radius. Great catch radius. I don't want to get into the whole debate about he says the Bombers didn't offer him, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They want him with Dalton Schoen. That's okay. It's all done. Mm-hmm. But it just tells you that no matter who you have, there's always going to be somebody throwing another dollar at you. And I just tell everybody to remember this. Sometimes it's not greener on the other side of the fence, brother. Yeah. Different coaches, different mentality. Do they like you? They don't like you. Maybe they don't take care of you. Maybe you got to take buses to practice. Maybe you don't got a professional chef cooking you dinner. You know what I'm talking about? And so with that, I say adieu, my friends. Adieu. And I will see you.
Enjoy the game. Big thanks to Silver Heights Restaurant. Go check them out. SilverHeightsRestaurant.ca. Link in the description below. Enjoy the game, Chris, and sign us out with a big cheer for the team you want to win, even with a little rest happening.
Let's go blue, don't make me sad, because if you lose, I'll be so frickin' mad. I'll come through the screen and I'll punch DB. Oh, you pay me and you'll see. Oh, bang, that's it, bye-bye, I gotta go.